Live from WQAD. News 8 at 9 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Wadas. Johnny is on assignment. Topping our news tonight, Moline police are calling a theft of a disabled veteran a new low. Police say the wheelchair lift the vet needs to get around town was stolen right off his car. News 8's Chris Miner spoke to the victim about the crooks who took his freedom.
Eddie Green doesn't get out of bed a lot these days.
I was healthy 5 years ago.
The Army veteran hasn't been the same since his heart attack and spinal surgery.
I just can't move that good no more. My legs don't want to do anything.
But on his good days, he relies on his 2 scooters to get him around, and the wheelchair lift attached to his Trailblazer to get groceries and go to doctor's appointments.
This was a necessity for me. I needed it.
Over the weekend, though, thieves ripped off the whole lift bolted to the SUV in his driveway.
Who would do such a thing?
Who are you asking?
Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
But it's pretty heavy. It's like 200 or 300 pounds. And it's so weird they took it. Why they took it, it's the mystery.
Police say the heartless thieves may have taken the metal lift to sell for scrap.
Out of all the things in the world to take from a person, a lift, this is just so weird.
This is pretty low, Eddie.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. I mean, because I need that.
Eddie says he's happy the VA has told him it will help replace what costs about $4,000 new.
And it might take a month before I get the lift back. So basically, I'm on house arrest.
You're on house arrest.
But it's sad.
People just don't care about anything anymore. It's really crazy.
How far people will kick you when you're down.
But there's some low down, dirty people that do something like that.
In Moline, Chris Miner, WQAD News 8.
Thank you, Chris. And even though Mr. Green is expected to eventually get his new lift, Moline police say they aren't happy someone is messing with a vet. Chances are, if you were outside today, you needed an umbrella. I did, forgot mine, and I got all wet. Chief Meteorologist James Zahara is in the Weather Center tonight. James, when's it going to get nice out?
My dear, you cannot afford an umbrella.
I know!
After this show, we are going down the street and we're going to get your umbrella, okay?
Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
Gotta deal with that. Come on. Let's take a look at what we have on our storm tracker across eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois. Yeah, still looking pretty wet out there, very spotty in nature, no lightning whatsoever, but we're kind of getting in the backside of this weather system that is spinning right on top of us, and that will mean that we're going to be adding maybe another 1/10 of an inch of rain before it begins to come to an end sometime, I would say after midnight is what we're looking at. Right now we're looking at temperatures, or I should say daytime highs, actually weren't too bad despite all the doom and gloom out there with numbers that climbed their way around the mid to upper 50s. Currently we're seeing temperatures for the most part around 50 degrees, upper 40s to our north, slightly warmer 50s down to our south. Currently in the Quad Cities, 51 degrees after a high of 56. And at least for now, we're getting a break from the wet weather, but that'll be a short-lived event as that system sweeps on by. And once that moves on by, right on its heels, here comes another wave of wet weather. And I'll tell you where it is and when that is going to be arriving coming up in just a few minutes. Elizabeth?
I'm not even going to say thank you for that, James. But in Your Voice, Your Vote coverage tonight at 9, voters in Moline and Rock Island will head to the polls tomorrow for a consolidated election day. Moline Mayor Scott Reyes is being challenged by Stephanie Acree. Reyes was an alderman for 10 years before becoming mayor 4 years ago. Acree has been an alderman for the past 6. In Rock Island, 4 candidates are vying to replace outgoing Mayor Dennis Pauley. Retired businessman Mike Tomes, former Alderman Terry Brooks, Alderman Steve Tollineer, and Internet Market Manager Andy Rowe. Tomorrow, voters in the Bureau Valley School District will decide whether or not to approve a multi-million-dollar project to expand their schools. The $17 million project would go towards building a new elementary school in Sheffield, Illinois. They would combine the local junior and high schools together. Signs against the project were posted all over town.
The taxpayers will, their voice will be heard. And, whether it's a yes vote or a no vote, I mean, we're going to do what's best for our kids in our buildings.
If approved, construction could start as soon as next fall. Several other items will be on the ballots for Illinois voters tomorrow. In Henry County, the Cambridge and Alwood School District will decide whether or not they want to consolidate. People in Erie will also decide on a consolidation plan. Voters are being asked to approve a nearly $14 million bond referendum to combine Erie's middle and high schools. In Sterling, voters will decide if they want to approve a half-cent sales tax increase. If approved, the money would go towards fixing the city's ongoing flood problems. And voters in Knox County will also vote to pass a new tax. It would help pay for services for people with substance abuse problems, mental health issues, and developmental disabilities. The Rock Island County Sheriff's Office is investigating a home invasion where shots were fired. Deputies were called Friday night to 180th Street North in East Moline around 10:30. Witnesses say 4 armed men forced their way into the home, reportedly robbing several people and firing gunshots before leaving. Nobody was hurt and no arrests have been made. Also in East Moline, police say a man was shot during an argument with another man. It happened around 2 this morning on 10th Avenue near the John Deere Harvester Works. Police say the victim was shot twice, but is expected to be okay. No arrests have been made. Tonight, investigators are calling the deadly explosion at a subway in Russia a terrorist attack. 11 people are now dead and dozens more are hurt. An unidentified device exploded on the train traveling between 2 stations in St. Petersburg. Then, about 20 minutes later, a second bomb was found, but it was defused at another station. Russia's President Vladimir Putin was near the site of the explosion, but he wasn't hurt. President Donald Trump condemned today's attack.
Terrible, terrible thing. Happening all over the world. Absolutely a terrible thing.
The city's subway system is shut down for now, and authorities are stepping up security in the country's capital of Moscow. Some Illinois lawmakers want to make communities safer for immigrants and domestic violence survivors. The Illinois Trust Act would shield immigrants from deportation threats. Specifically, it would limit the involvement of local police departments in federal immigration enforcement. It would also simplify how violent crime survivors report problems to local police. Lawmakers say the proposal would free up local agencies to focus more on crime prevention and investigation. The vote to confirm President Donald Trump's pick for the Supreme Court could change the Senate rules for good. Right now, Neil Gorsuch needs 60 votes to be confirmed, but Republicans are looking at a nuclear option, which would only require a majority vote to move forward. Senate Democrats say they have enough support to carry out a filibuster and block the nomination of the federal judge.
Based on Judge Gorsuch's record at the Department of Justice, his tenure on the bench, his appearance before the Senate, and his written questions for the record, I cannot support this nomination.
That this good man and this good judge who's offered himself to serve our country on the United States Supreme Court will be confirmed by the end of this week, and he should be.
Gorsuch has cleared the committee vote, but lawmakers still have a few days to decide whether to support him, to filibuster, or to go with the nuclear option. There's much more to come right here on WQAD News 8 at 9. Still ahead, staying alive. The good news for a Quad Cities Gordmans after the company filed for bankruptcy.